No one ever saw the vans. They were plain, white, no logos, no tinted windows, no music, just quiet vehicles that slipped into neighborhoods, school zones, bus stops, playgrounds, and crowded city corners. They never stayed long, and they never returned empty. The girl's name was Lena. She was 10 years old, small for her age, with a laugh that sounded like wind chimes. She loved drawing butterflies, even though she had never seen one in real life. Her mother used to say that one day they would travel somewhere warm, somewhere green, somewhere full of flowers and butterflies. But dreams were expensive, and Lena's family barely had enough for food. They lived in a crowded apartment in a poor district of Manila. Her mother worked 2 jobs. Her father had disappeared years earlier. Lena spent most of her days at home with her younger brother, drawing butterflies on scraps of paper and taping them to the wall. The last butterfly she drew was blue. She never got to hang it up. It happened on a Thursday. School had ended early. Lena and 3 other children walked home together. They were laughing, throwing pebbles, talking about snacks. The van stopped beside them. The door slid open. A man stepped out. He wore a smile that felt wrong, like a costume someone forgot to take off. "Your mother asked me to pick you up," he said softly. Lena hesitated. "She's at the hospital. Your brother got hurt. She told me to bring you." The other children stared. Lena's heart pounded. Her brother was clumsy, always climbing things, always falling. "What happened to him?" she whispered. The man knelt down, lowering his voice. "He's scared. He keeps asking for you." That was all it took. Lena stepped into the van. The door slid shut, and the van drove away. Inside it was dark. Not empty, just dark. Lena blinked, tried to adjust her eyes. She realized she wasn't alone. There were children inside, 6 of them. Some were crying silently. One boy stared at the floor. Another girl clutched a stuffed animal, so tightly the seams were tearing. Lena's voice shook. "Where are we going?" No one answered, because they didn't know either. Across the ocean, in Chicago, Special Agent Daniel Reyes was about to get a case that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He had been in the FBI for 12 years. He had seen drug cartels, cybercrime rings, financial fraud worth billions. But nothing prepared him for what was inside the envelope on his desk that morning. No return address, just a single USB drive. And a note. They called the party. Daniel plugged the USB into his laptop. At first, it looked like security footage. A large mansion, dim lights, music echoing through marble halls, well-dressed men and women laughing, holding glasses of champagne, walking through rooms filled with art and expensive furniture. It looked like a high society gathering, until the camera turned and showed the children. They were lined up against the wall, some in oversized clothes, some barefoot, some with blank, empty stares. The laughter in the room didn't stop. Daniel's stomach tightened. He kept watching. A man in a suit approached one of the children. He smiled, touched the child's chin, spoke softly. The audio was muffled, but the tone was clear. Ownership, control, something dark, something unspeakable. Daniel stopped the video. He couldn't watch more. He just sat there, staring at the screen, feeling the weight of it pressing into his chest. He had seen evil before, but this was organized, polished, wealthy, protected. Attached to the video were files. Hundreds of them. Photos, shipping logs, fake adoption papers, bank transfers, private jet schedules. And one name appeared again and again. The Orion Circle. At first, it looked like a charity. An international foundation that funded orphanages, education programs, and humanitarian missions. They had awards, public recognition, endorsements from politicians, pictures with celebrities. They were untouchable. But inside the files, behind the polished image, was something else entirely. A network, a global pipeline. Children taken from poor regions, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, parts of Africa, South America, moved across borders using forged documents. distributed to private estates, yachts, and exclusive parties attended by the richest and most powerful people in the world. People with influence, people with protection, people who could make investigations disappear. Daniel's phone rang. It was his supervisor. Reyes, I just got the same envelope you did. So this is real? Silence on the other end. Then, we're opening a task force. You're in charge. Meanwhile, Lena's world had turned into a nightmare. The van took her to an airport, not the main terminal, a private one. She and the other children were rushed into a small jet. No windows, no explanation, just cold air and silent adults. One girl whispered, "Where are they taking us?" Another child said, "I heard them say America." Lena thought of her mother, her brother, the blue butterfly on the wall, and she began to cry. The jet landed at night. They were taken to a large house, surrounded by tall trees. The gates were metal. The windows were tinted. The air smelled like expensive perfume, and something else, something stale, something wrong. Inside, the children were separated. Lena was taken to a small room with a bed, a camera in the corner, and a locked door. She sat on the mattress, hugging her knees. No one told her what would happen next. But deep down, she knew, and that was the worst part. Back in Chicago, Daniel's team started digging. The Orion Circle wasn't just a charity. It was a front. Behind it were shell companies, secret accounts, and encrypted communication channels. But every time they followed the money, it led to powerful names. A senator, a tech billionaire, a media mogul, a judge, and even a former intelligence official. Daniel felt his chest tighten. "This isn't a gang," he said. "This is a system." Weeks passed. No arrests, no warrants. Every request was denied. Every lead got buried. Every time they got close, someone higher up told them to stop. Daniel slammed his fist on the table one night. They're protecting them. His partner, Agent Miller, looked at him carefully. Or they're part of it. Then something unexpected happened. A call came in from a local police station in New Mexico. A child had been found wandering near a desert highway, barefoot, malnourished, terrified, and speaking broken English. Her name was Lena. She had escaped the night of the party. The power went out during a storm. In the confusion, one of the guards left the service door unlocked. Lena saw it. She didn't think. She just ran, through the trees, over rocks, through mud, for hours, until she reached the road, and collapsed. When Daniel saw her, he felt something inside him crack. She was so small, so quiet. Her eyes looked older than they should have. He knelt down in the interview room. "Lena, I'm here to help you. Can you tell me what happened?" She hesitated. Then she whispered, "They wear masks to the parties." Daniel's heart stopped. "Masks?" She nodded. "Animal masks. Gold ones. They call each other by numbers, not names." That was the break they needed. Lena described the house, the layout, the guards, the vehicles, the smell of the kitchen, the sound of the piano in the hallway, every tiny detail. And Daniel knew one thing. She wasn't lying. Using her information, the FBI located this estate, but it wasn't registered under any of the Orion Circle companies. It belonged to a trust, and the trustee was a sitting U.S. senator. The room went silent. Daniel whispered, "You've got to be kidding me." Miller shook his head. "This goes all the way up." They had two choices: back down or go undercover. Daniel chose the second. For months, he built a new identity. A wealthy investor, private security background, discreet, reliable, recommended through channels connected to the Orion Circle. Eventually, he got an invitation, a gold card with a single symbol, a constellation shaped like a circle, and one line, "The party awaits." The night of the party, Daniel wore a suit that cost more than his car. He put on the gold animal mask and walked inside. Music played softly. Champagne flowed. Guests laughed. But behind the smiles, behind the masks, he saw something else. Hunger, power, cruelty. And then he recognized a voice. One of the masked guests spoke to another. Senator Hale will be arriving shortly. Daniel's breath caught. Hale, the same name on the trust. Then the senator entered the room, still wearing his mask. But Daniel recognized his posture, his voice, his ring. And Daniel felt something deeper than anger, rage. The signal was given. Outside, FBI vehicles surrounded the estate. Inside, the lights flickered. Guests looked around, confused, nervous. Then the doors burst open. FBI, nobody move. Screams, running footsteps, shattering glasses, masks falling to the floor, and powerful faces exposed under bright lights. Senator Hale tried to run, but Daniel grabbed him. You're under arrest. Hale sneered. You have no idea who you're touching. Daniel leaned in close. Oh, I do. The arrest made headlines across the world. Billionaires, politicians, celebrities, executives, all exposed, all charged. The Orion Circle collapsed overnight. In court, Lena testified. Her voice trembled, but she spoke, and the world listened. One by one, the powerful fell. Sentences were handed down. Some got life, some got decades, some died in prison. Karma, people said, had finally caught up, but a year later, Daniel received another envelope. No return address. Inside was a single photograph, a masked figure, standing in a different mansion, in a different country. Behind them, a familiar symbol, the Orion Circle, and a note. You close one door, but the party never ends. Daniel stared at the photo, then picked up his phone. Get the team together, he said quietly. We're not done yet. If this story shook you, let me know in the comments. Do you think networks like this could really exist at the highest levels of power? And would you want a sequel where Daniel tracks the Orion Circle across the world? Because the next chapter might be even darker.